Thank you. For those who I haven't met, I'm Nobby Martins. I'm heading up a company called CityPay. We're a payments company, and we offer a number of services ranging from merchant accounts right through to mobile payments. So what I'd like to cover today is a quick overview of the card transaction cycle, a little bit about what CityPay does today, what we're doing in the mobile space, and what we're looking to do in future. We'd like to also have a quick look at a snapshot of our emerging competing mobile products that we see, and then look at some of the acquiring cost changes that are taking place in the market. A brief look at the card security requirements out there today, and then what's Jersey doing in the payment space. So whether you are processing from a mobile environment or a POS, you would typically connect to a payment gateway over ISDN, PSTN, Internet GPRS, and then you'll do so over TLS or SRTP, which is a security protocol. Now CityPay will forward that on to the acquiring bank, and who will route that through the card schemes to the issuer. And the issuer is concerned with whether you've got sufficient funds on your account, whether the card's been reported stolen or lost. And if all that being well, they will send back an authorization all the way back to CityPay, who will then communicate that back to the acquiring bank, to the merchant, and also the cardholder. And then CityPay do a thing called batching, and that's when you get paid into your normal business bank account. So what are we doing as a company? Well, look, we offer merchant services. So we're accredited as an ISO, which basically means that we can sign up merchants on behalf of acquiring banks where funds are settled directly from the acquiring bank to the merchant. We're also accredited as an IPSP, which basically means that we sign up with the merchant and funds are settled into CityPay, and from there we onward settle to the actual merchant. So we offer multi-currency, and we also offer multi-accounts for the various environments, whether it be internet or chip and PIN. As a payment gateway, we're accredited by all the UK major acquiring banks, and in this environment, we offer a number of APIs. We offer a hosted API, which basically enables us to capture all the card data on our systems, so the merchant itself doesn't handle card data at all. If, however, the merchant wants to have more control about the look and feel of the payment terminal, then they will need to use a server-to-server API. But that brings them into PCI compliance. We offer virtual terminals, shopping cart facilities, a basic bill payment service, and we also offer a tokenization service mainly aimed at the larger retailers and organizations. So we've got a number of utilities, for example, that would store their clients' card data with CityPay against a token. And then whenever they want to charge that token and a subsequent listed card, they would either send it to us as an individual transaction or as a batch. And we also provide a 3D secure MPI, which basically enables us to offer Verified by Visa and MasterCard secure code. And to ensure that you have some management and control, we provide a management panel to allow you to report on those transactions. We have an IVR payment system which operates over VoIP and is able to offer you UK and local free phone numbers. And that basically enables you to offer a mobile or a number for your clients to call and initiate a payment. We have a number of physical terminals, whether they be PSTN, IP, or GPRS. We have contactless terminals enabled, and we also do what we call DCC, dynamic currency conversion, on those terminals. We offer a gift card system which operates through the existing terminals, and therefore avoiding additional hardware. And obviously that also provides a merchant panel to enable you to report on the transactions. In the EPOS world, we've got a full EPOS solution, which will be a till, a pin pad, and also a cash drawer. Or if it's more suitable, we have a mobile solution also available. So what are we doing in the mobile space? Well, mobile space is really large. We tend to focus on what we kind of do today. So therefore, we are able to cater already for NFC payments. So that's your Apple Pay, that's your Samsungs and Googles of this world that use an existing technology. NFC is already used for contactless payments. So we have that enabled throughout our network. And we, as you're probably aware, mobile payments in that space is limited to £30. But with Apple Pay, for example, we've been able to work with our acquiring banks and increase that. And one of our retailers is taking a top-up payments up to £5,000. Quite a substantial sum. We have a tokenization system, as I mentioned earlier, and that's widely used in the mobile space. So a significant number of our clients are developing their own wallets, and they're using us as the tokenization system. So we store the card data, they provide the wallet that they want, they customize the look and feel, and we do all the security. We clearly have also designed our network to ensure that it's mobile friendly. So the application forms and the various APIs that we offer are able to be rendered within a browser environment for tablets and also mobile phones. Looking at the future in the mobile space, we clearly recognize that Apple Pay is here to stay. So we've developed an SDK, and that SDK then will enable you to develop your apps for in-app payments. We clearly will look to develop an Android equivalent, which will cater for the likes of Samsung and Google Pay in Q2. We are aware of Bluetooth technology in this space, but clearly we don't see it as an immediate requirement, and therefore we're just keeping an eye on developments. And we are seriously considering offering an island-wide wallet. And that's because we process for a significant number of retailers on the Channel Islands, and therefore we could very easily link all of those together to offer a streamlined, very easy checkout for these retailers. So whether you're paying your GST, paying your corporation tax, booking a flight between the Channel Islands, topping up your mobile phones, or paying your electricity or water bill, that's all coming through CityPay today. We're clearly interested in cryptocurrency, but I have to say we've been one of those that have kind of sat back and wait and see. We've had a number of clients or a number of service providers connect with us to see whether we would offer that through our payment systems, and we've declined that offer for the time being. So what are we doing with regards to the card schemes? Well, the card schemes have developed their own wallets. You see the Visa have done V.me, and MasterCard have got the MasterPass. We are in the process of integrating these into our own payment systems. Clearly, what you have to do in this space is obviously register with a bank or building society for a wallet. You would then register your cards with them, and then whenever you see the likes of MasterPass at a checkout, you would enter your email address and password, and therefore authenticate the transaction that way without giving over the card details. There's clearly a number of competing wallets out there, mobile payments, and I won't go into this, we haven't got time, and David, I'm sure, will cover some of this later on. But one of the interesting ones that I see is Project Oscar. Project Oscar was an initiative by some rather large mobile telecom companies, and I felt, having a telecoms background, I understood and felt that these guys had a real opportunity to make a significant impact in this market. However, these guys were stopped because of competition fears, and I think that it's been kicked in the long grass somewhere in Brussels. But these guys have got money, they've got customers, they're reasonably well trustworthy, apart from talk, I guess. But they could have stolen the march on the whole marketplace. But clearly, Apple Pay and the likes of that have got there for them. So what's happening in the commercial world? Card acquiring has been decreasing over the years, I guess mainly due to increased competition. But Visa and MasterCard have come under pressure to reduce what they call the interchange. The interchange is basically the raw cost of processing a card transaction. So what we've seen this year is that personal credit cards have been reduced. So the cost of acquiring those cards should have been reduced. Visa and MasterCard, earlier on this year, decided that they would change the interchange for Visa debit cards. So historically, credit cards were a percentage, debit cards have been a fixed fee. So what Visa said was that we want to now change that so that debit cards are charged at a small percentage and a small fixed fee. So this is significant because debit cards are widely used on the internet today. Some time ago, 70% was credit cards, 30% was debit. That's completely reversed now. And I guess that reversal has been a part of the surcharging mechanism. So a number of retailers are putting on a surcharge. So airlines, governments are putting on a surcharge to use your card. So people are obviously migrating across to debit cards. So who are the losers and winners in this? Well, look, the acquirers will certainly see their costs reduced. The issuers will certainly see a lack of income because it's their income that's been mainly reduced. But the Visa debit card changes may provide additional income. It really depends. And I'm sure that they've done a lot of data crunching and they know more or less where they're at. Merchants, well, it really depends. So the merchants that are processing low-value transactions. So if you're a retailer selling musical downloads, say, and you're selling a track for £1, historically you'd have been charged about 20p to process that transaction. In the new environment, you would probably be exposed to, say, 1% plus 3p, so you're looking at about 4%. So that compares with 20% in the old environment. So if you're a low transaction merchant, then it could be beneficial for you. If you're a high transaction merchant, if you're selling goods that are of high value, the Visa debit card changes will certainly increase your costs. But if you're processing transactions above £500, then you should be talking to your acquiring bank to ensure that your card transactions for Visa debit cards is capped. And if you can't get joy out of them, come and talk to us. Consumers, I don't see any significant changes for consumers because I can't see merchants or the acquirers passing on the interchange to any extent. And I'm hoping that most retailers won't charge a surcharge for debit cards, and they'll probably absorb that as part of the business. So what's happening in the security world? Well, look, Visa and MasterCard are clearly quite keen to protect their brand. So they've introduced standards, and they're saying that anybody that processes card data or handles card data needs to be PCI DSS compliant. And this ranges from level 1, which is the highest level, which people like ourselves, acquirers and issuers, right down to anybody that handles card data. So who's actually involved? Well, really anybody that touches card data, from acquirers and issuers all the way through to application vendors and merchants. Application vendors themselves have actually a different accreditation, which is PADSS. So will card security become more challenging, less challenging, about the same, or the card scheme responsibilities? Well, I think the card schemes are very conscious that, as I say, to protect their brand. So they've introduced a number of things to protect themselves against fraud. So you looked at the chip and PIN being introduced, then they introduced the 3D Secure for online transactions. They're doing some stuff on wallets, tokenization to remove the cards away from merchants. And they've underpinned it all with a PCI DSS standards. And one hopes that all of these things will start to erode some of the low-hanging fruits for fraudsters online, in particular. But, hardly a day goes by where you don't see the news or a major breach somewhere in the world. So security will continue, unfortunately, to become a major challenge for us all. So what's happening in Jersey? Well, look, Jersey hasn't exactly been static in this space. It's got strong affiliations with the likes of DataCash, WorldPay, Gold Money, CityPay, of course, and has been very proactive in the crypto sector. So I think that, we're doing our bit. There is only so much, I guess, a small jurisdiction can do, but I think we're there. So if I can try and quickly summarize, in my view, the regulatory and interchange developments has the potential to fundamentally change the card issuing business. You will probably find that, years to come, that you won't get a kickback for using your credit card premiums, etc., because there isn't simply the margins there. The increase of use of mobile devices as a form of payment will unnaturally continue to grow and replace traditional commerce. New payment methods are clearly becoming a thing that is here to stay, and they're evolving and remain a tremendous threat to that of the cards and also traditional bank payments. Security continues to be a major major issue, clearly, and recent breaches reinforce the need to be vigilant and have robust controls in place. There's also a growing issue for retailers because the increasing alternative payment options available is giving these guys some real headaches in terms of what do they embed into their website as a payment option. Traditionally, I guess you had Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, but now you've got so many more options available to you. And finally, Jersey has and continues to be reasonably active in this market, but there is only certain activities that Jersey can cater for. Okay, that's it.
Should we take some questions? Questions?
Yeah, sure.
Do we have any questions for Nobby? Just get the camera on you as well.
Robbie Andrews. How do you see the progression of open banking APIs changing how card merchant providers and generally payment providers deal with transactions?
Well, I think the banks are somewhat concerned, and they have started to offer a number of solutions to basically enable their underlying payment infrastructure. So if you're looking at Bags, your Chaps and Swifts, etc., and if you look and see what's going on, and you look at Barclays doing the likes of Ping, etc., they are very keen to get into that space. I think what we've got to understand is that credit card infrastructure wasn't developed with the internet in mind. It was developed for you and I entering into a retail shop, handing over the card, and making that transaction in a face-to-face environment. But when the internet exploded, it was really the only mechanism that lent itself to the internet. And therefore, it was by default the payment mechanism of the internet, and has started to really pick up. And of course now, it is the only real alternative out there. But the banks are trying to get there. Where they'll end up, only time will tell. But I would see that the banks are not going to stand there and let it all go through, particularly if they are not looking at putting in place protection with regards to their revenues. So if they're not making enough revenue through card issuing, they need to do something else.
Okay, thank you.
Nobby, thank you very much.